Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the English News from Djibouti channels. Here are our top stories of our news edition tonight. Issues study evaluating the impact of COVID-19 on refugees and migrants was conducted today. In Philippines, super typhoon gone to the Philippines. More than 3,000 people lost their home. Welcome if you join us. A must study evaluating the impact of COVID-19 was held yesterday today about refugees and migrants. Before that, in a statement, the head of state, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, addressed to the Turkish counterpart, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, his compassion and solidarity to the sister nations and friend of Turkey, victim of a deadly earthquake that killed about 20 people and injured several hundred people. The people and government of Djibouti join me in expressing their sympathy to the sister nations of Turkey in the terrible ordeal of this tragedy, wrote President Guelleh, who then used his message to relay his sad condolences and those of all Djiboutians. May God spare the brotherly Turkish people the recurrence of such a traumatic experience. Also implored President Ismail Omar Guelleh, who stated his faith and ability of the friend nations of Turkey to quickly overcome the consequences of his natural disaster, the deadly earthquake that shocked the western regions of Turkey, precisely the province of Izmir, also caused a mini tsunami felt in the Greek island of Samos. Today also held in the third arrondissement of Bulaus commune the official launch of the study of the socio-economic impact of the coronavirus on the host population and communities. The Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Mrs. Muna Usman Aden, as well as Mr. Moulin Ahmed Sheikh, Minister of Interior, and in partnership with the representative of the High Commissioner for Refugees and the Executive Secretary of UNARS, took part in the launching ceremony. The ceremony also attended by Honorable Deputies and President of Bulaus and Balbala commune women and community leaders from different communes of the capital. The purpose of the socio-economic impact assessment study on the refugees and the host population is to reflect on how to prepare a recovery and rehabilitations plan on the economic, social, and educational levels. The Minister of the Interior has, in a word, pronounced this event. He said that this is the survey is unique of its kind to study in a depth the living conditions and well-being during and after confinement, including the psychological aspect due to the confinement. Indeed, the socio-economic impact assessment study on the refugees and host population aimed to reflect on how to prepare a plan for economic, social, and educational recovery and rehabilitation, and also it allows to analyze the possibilities in order to establish a roadmap. The Minister of Social Affairs first of all thanked the refugees leaders and representatives of associations. She said that the purpose of this visit is to launch a survey to assess the impact of COVID-19 for the Djiboutian people. and she also recalled that the government has spread no effort to cope with this pandemic for the entire population of Djibouti. The Minister of Social Affairs has asked also the Djiboutian people a vigilant, especially watch hands, which is paramount. The Minister of Health, Mr. Mohammed Warsame Diri, received in his office the new resident representative of WFP, Mrs. Mary, as part of a courtesy visit welcoming his host. The Minister of Health recalled the key role of WFP in assisting and supporting vulnerable population, especially in this period of health crisis. The minister also took the opportunity to congratulate the WFP, which was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2020 in recognition of its effort to combat hunger in the world. The Minister of Health and the new representative of WFP agreed to raise the level of their collaborations to accelerate effort to provide nutritional assistance in Djibouti. As part of the implementations of the 2035 vision, whose ambitions is to improve the living conditions of our fellow citizens while reducing poverty and unemployment, the National Network for Social Development RNDS had signed with the mayor of Djibouti a convention to promote the 3-star initiative to create in each district of the capital a solidarity fund, a food bank, and an office of materials. In this perspective, the ceremony of creation of the solidarity fund of the council of a district in Balbala and also the CDC of Sheikh Usman. As part of the daily operations of maritime surveillance patrols and research and rescue in the territorial water, the patrol and the surveillance team of the port complex rescue a pleasures boat registered DG 450, which was about to sink after the hull cracked severely on the evening of October 31st at 6 p.m. in the vicinity of Cor Ambado. The boat had aboard a family 5 persons of French nationality whose father is a senior official of the French forces stationed in Djibouti. The French family had gone out to sea the day before to send some good weather on the beautiful white sand beach. It was on their return halfway that they found that a lot of water was entering the boat because of the huge crack in the hull. A ceremony inaugurated the pole shower took place this morning at the Women's Sports Complex funded by the Italian military station in Djibouti. The ceremony was attended by Mrs. Fatuma Jama Tukale, director of Women's Sports Complex, who officially received the key to the shower of swimming pools. The Deputy Secretary UNFD, Mrs. Ruqia Yusuf Ali, who took part in the ceremony, stressed the importance of these pools to demonstrate the capacity building of the center that welcomed Djiboutian women. This center is part of the reinforcement of the unfailing support for a better promotions of women's sports. Last competitions, last hand-to-hand combat, and here's an intense training course which ends after training a technical performance during the week, interspersed with a beautiful outing to the Muka Iceland to sign an agreement with the Djiboutian Federations of Underwater Sport, followed by the introductory session to diving. The end has sounded a smile on the lips, permanent joy on the faces, but especially a good dose of fatigue after 5 intensive days. The final whistle had a test of apotheosis with the last competition for the 100 children exhausting for the trains, who were rewarded with certificate of training course and a pretty jersey offered by the World Federations and given by the car. And now let's move on continental news. A super typhoon Goni hits the Philippines. More than 300,000 people evacuated. The most powerful typhoon recorded worldwide this year was accompanied by gusts of up to 2019 km per hour after making landfall in the Bicol region. Although the alert level was lowered, the National Weather Services are warned that a threat still loomed for province south of the Philippine capital of Manila. About COVID-19 in England confirms from Thursday, the Prime Minister's Boris Johnson announced on Saturday that the return of containment throughout England in the face of a second massive wave of corona infection, which threatens to saturate health services for 4 weeks. Caves and restaurants will remain closed unless they offer takeaway or delivery services. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.